How's everybody doing today? It is March 4th, 2021, and these articles that I'm going to pull up, well, mostly will probably just be this one. I will follow up with a follow-up video on this whole situation and agenda that is going on. And here we go again. This is the continuation of what, they did last time this all happened, at the Capitol, Check this out. Intel warns of possible violence at Capitol March 4th, which is today. The House scraps the session, so they take the day off, right? It says, the U.S. Capitol is the target of a potential plot by a militia group to attack Democratic lawmakers on March 4th and remains a target for domestic violence extremists, according to a new intelligence bulletin issued by the FBI and the Department of Homeland Security, obtained by CBS News, okay? It just is, it's ridiculous to me to even hear how these things are put out, okay? Look at domestic violent extremist, and once again, they know something's going to happen, so what do? We'll just go blurt it out to everybody. We'll tell everybody that, what's going to happen. We know this. Tip off your, so-called enemy, right? If that's what it is, and let them know that they're coming. It just makes absolutely no sense, you see, look at, they have literally barbed wire up and fences, It's totally different world we're living in now. It says, as of late February, an unidentified group of militia violent extremists discussed plans to take control of the U.S. Capitol and remove Democratic lawmakers on or about March 4th, and discussed aspirational plans to persuade thousands to travel to Washington, D.C. to participate, the bulletin reads. Look at this. Plans to take control of the Capitol. Wow, right? And you're gonna come out in mainstream news and let them know, right? Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, right? No. So it also notes that acting U.S. Capitol Police Chief, I think it is Yogananda Pittman, said militia groups have expressed a desire to blow up the Capitol when lawmakers are attending the President Sleepy Joe's first presidential address to a joint session of Congress, which has yet to be scheduled. It says the House canceled its Thursday session due to the threat. Two House sources confirmed to CBS News. Now, I always wonder, what was everything that was on the agenda today, or on the docket, I guess you could say, for today? When they canceled this, what did they avoid, right? Usually, almost always, there's something out there, too. It's not just because they're trying to push this agenda in the mainstream, but a lot of times it'll also be they, didn't want to have to vote on a certain thing, or they didn't have to do, A, B, or C, and by having something like this happen, then that gets them out of that, okay? It says House Majority Leader Steny Hoyer released an updated schedule showing the House would vote on a police reform legislation called the George Floyd Justice in Policing Act on Wednesday night instead of Thursday, enabling the House to wrap up its work week Wednesday. The measure passed. So they did this, okay? So here we go. It's, a new police reform legislation. So, how deep is that? What goes into that? I'm going to try to look into that a little bit more. Maybe I can get you some deeper information, okay? It goes on to say, it says, officials have been watching for the signs there may be acts of violence in Washington on Thursday carried out by extremists who are inspired by QAnon conspiracy theories. Here we go, right? You and I. And believe that March 4th will be the day of the true inauguration of Mr. T. Said this is the date when presidents used to be sworn in before the ceremony was moved to January 20th. These groups also think that Mr. T could return to power on May 20th with the help of the U.S. military. It goes on, it says, a separate FBI message suggests that the anti-government group called the Three Percenters has been discussing some kind of action. They believe they are protecting Americans from government tyranny, according to research by the Anti-Defamation League. It says, but on Tuesday, the acting House Sergeant-at-Arms, Timothy Blodgett, suggested in a message to members of Congress that the significance of the March 4th date had reportedly declined in the recent days, and the U.S. Capitol Police had no indication that groups will travel to Washington, D.C. to protest or commit acts of violence. Okay, so if you're saying that right there, why are you still pushing this in the mainstream, right? The headlines were still the same. Yeah, they didn't put this part in the headline. No. It says, still, he wrote that there would be additional personnel posted on the Capitol grounds in the coming days, as well as what? That's right, the Nat Guard troops that have been posted in Washington to secure the area since the January 6th riots. That's right, they have not left, nor are they planning to leave, okay? Says FBI and the DHS bulletin was published hours later on Tuesday, prompting a new email from Blodgett to lawmakers Wednesday, in which he said the Capitol Police had received new and concerning information and intelligence indicating additional interest in the Capitol for the dates of the March 4th-6th by a militia group. Can't get much more broader than that, a militia group, you know. Says in a separate statement, Capitol Police said that it obtained intelligence that shows a possible plot to breach the Capitol by an unidentified militia group on Thursday, March 4th. Says Melissa Smyslova, acting undersecretary for the intelligence and analyst at the Department of Homeland Security, confirmed at a hearing on Capitol Hill Wednesday that her division had issued a joint intelligence report with FBI late Tuesday night around midnight. Says, pressed by Wisconsin's Republican Senator Ron Johnson about whether threats to the U.S. Capitol were ongoing in nature, Smyslova responded yes. Pittman told lawmakers Wednesday that the Capitol Police are calling on law enforcement partners throughout the nation's capital in preparation for possible unrest on March 4th and March 6th. Here we go, right? They are showing you the agenda. They are pushing the chaos. They are doing this. Order out of chaos. Now, look, you know, possible unrest. Here we go again, right? Over and over again. What do they need? They need the National, Guard in there. They need more and more police in there, etc., etc. We have enhanced our security posture, Pittman said. We have taken immediate steps to let the National Guard as well as our workforce know what to expect tomorrow and going forward. It says, in her testimony Wednesday, Pittman referred to ongoing threats posed to the U.S. Capitol as through the roof, noting the USCP have asked for 111 additional dignitary protection officers in the agency's upcoming FY 2022 budget, it says. She testified that there has been a nearly 94% increase in threats against lawmakers in the first 2 months of 2021. It says, compared to the same period as last year, with many suspects residing outside of Washington. The acting police chief noted intelligence received on the potential for violence was sensitive. Yes, sensitive. I love how they talk in this. Out of both sides of their mouth again. It says, and said she would brief lawmakers in a classified setting later Wednesday. The FBI and the DHS bulletin said that the domestic violent extremists perceptions of election fraud and other conspiracy theories associated with the presidential transition may contribute to violent behavior and that they might try to attack or disrupt planned or unscheduled public gatherings in the D.C. area. And it just shows, why would you ever put this out for another reason? Why, if you have some people out there that are a little crazy and they do want to go do this, why would you put this information out there so that they can go and join up together and actually do it unless you want them to maybe go and do it, right? It says last week, Pittman told lawmakers that the Capitol Police remain on high alert amid chatter by extremist groups threatening violence against the members of Congress at President Sleepy Joe's first address to Congress. It says, we know that the members of the militia groups that were present on January 6th have stated their desires that they want to blow up the Capitol and kill as many members as possible with a direct nexus to the State of the Union, which we know that date has not been identified. Pittman said last week, pressed about the heightened security posture and barbed wire fencing surrounding the Capitol complex. These measures will remain in place, she said, until the Capitol Police have addressed those vulnerabilities. So they're going to say, well, until we know for sure, right? Well, when will that be? How many more types of things are you going to see like this where they are, look at this, surrounding a building in barbed wire, maybe planning for something down the road, right? And when they're coming out talking about, oh, look at, they want to blow up the Capitol and kill as many as they can, it just blows, it's just insanity, right? Why would they ever put this in the mainstream if it was just a legit story? Oh, it says, Ohio Representative Tim Ryan, who chairs the House subcommittee that oversees the Capitol Police funding, called the bomb threats new information and obviously disturbing, and said his committee would follow up on the information. Yes. Okay, well, we'd love to hear what he finds out, right? But we won't, and if we do, it'll just be them talking out both sides of their mouth again. All right? But I want to leave this one here. I just wanted you to see this. So today, we'll see what happens. Throughout the day, I doubt anything big will happen. And it's just another push of fear. It's just another way that they have to continue to have you thinking about CV and, not just starting to go back to your own life and starting to provide for your family and, et cetera, right? They do not want to lose control. This entire scenario has given them so much power over everyone, and they are willing to do anything they can to keep that. So we always have to keep that in our mind, okay? Everybody stay strong. Stay in your Bibles, in the Word. You need it. It will keep you grounded, and it will definitely help get you through any hard times that you are going through, okay? And remember, there's no panic. There's no fear. Just prepare and be ready mentally, physically, with you and your family, okay? I hope everybody has a great day today. We'll talk to you all real soon. God bless.